think we have already spoken to you here, Prof, that the School of Governance needs to help the three spheres of government to say, what is that or the level of graduates that you are producing here that are going to take over to be mayors and municipal managers, and because we cannot rely on people who are catered employees, whereas we can rely from the School of Governance producing the type of people who understand that tomorrow I can be a mayor. But the problem is that we produce people here who are so academic, who think that politics is not for me. I want to be an administrator. But immediately we produce people who don't want to play in the space of politics. We will always say there's no capacity at the level of governance. So professionalization is there, but you need to professionalize governance, because to implement a policy that has been done by people who are bruised, we came through the trenches, we fought, we need to eat now. No, they will develop a policy in such a way that you as a professional person, you'll find it difficult to implement. So rather, as we did with ATM, we can see all these people sitting here, these are professionals, but they are politicians. I'm a DSG, but I'm a professional. I don't shy away from politics, because whoever is going to take a lead into politics is going to direct all of us. We can sit here and have a dialogue. They will sit there where they are and decide for us. So participation at the policy is fine, but also let's produce political leaders as School of Governance. Now, let's look at the Constitution. The Constitution does not have to be too detailed to say this is how you need to procure. But as soon as the government starts to implement the ideologies of drawing the poorest of the poor into the mainstream of economy, references will be made, they will be taken to court, and reference will be made to a constitution. What does the constitution say about choosing me instead of her? And if it is not talking to the redress, the 7 pillars of the constitution is about equality, it's about fairness, it's about objectivity, but at the end of the day, there's nothing that says, I might have missed it, but there's nothing that says you are going to address the imbalances of the past this way. And that should be something that by law, nobody can challenge. Because if it's not saying anything, the review of the Constitution talks to what Ntate Hlabisa is saying, that devolve the powers. It's in the Constitution. If you don't review the Constitution, you can't devolve the powers. Because the powers and functions in the Constitution, they say this is what national does, this is what province does, this is what... So nobody will say devolve the powers without reviewing the Constitution. So the indaba that Tunzi is talking about must start with the Constitution. So what we do first, let's review the laws of the country, because that's what controls everything that we do. You see, why do you think every second day there's a court case against the interpretation of the Constitution? Why people are still not able to interpret the Constitution? By now, we should be able to interpret it. Something is wrong with the Constitution. And when in the regulations that Treasury brought in to say regulations of 2017 to choose other companies that are preferred than others, they were taken to court. And the Constitutional Court says, whatever you're trying to do is not in the Constitution, so go back to your preferential procurement framework. Because government, the only tool that the government has is how to use its own procurement. You can tell people that I'm going to build roads tomorrow, I'm going to fix this. If the economy of the country does not have enough to produce for the government to have enough resources to do that, we can all sit in politicians and say, watch me tomorrow, I'll be fixing potholes, I'll be fixing this. But come the budgetary time, there's no money to do that because the economy is not growing. What is that we need to do to grow the economy? Is it about investment? Yes, but also draw the majority of the people into the mainstream of the economy, using your own procurement regulations that you have developed yourself to say, how do I bring in the majority? Are we still saying the people who are poor, who were poor before 1994, they are still living in the same life? And we are saying that we can change the constitution, we can change the livelihood of the people. We can't. So we need to agree as a society that whatever that we are promising people to do, we need to follow the steps, change the constitution, make sure that we use the procurement models that we have to draw the majority of the people in gaining something out of the constitution itself.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Thank you. I'm going to start with the last question first and then work my way around. So